We're good. Let's see. Okay, and you guys, whenever you want to talk or share anything, just message me, or not message me, just unmute yourself. There's a way to do this where it jumps around, but I don't know where it is. All right, anyway. Okay, so first I want to talk about some things, and if Annette and Andrea and Katie and Sharon, everybody's on here, Monica, Brandy, everybody, they'll understand where I'm coming from. So first of all, Coaching Corner is a place where we want to help you identify your struggle, and we want to be able to identify the voices and the stories that you're telling yourself. We're not therapists. So if there is something that is definitely something serious, and we want you to go and talk to someone who is actually licensed. But when you're a leader, there are 5 hats that you wear. And it's basically a cheerleader, a coach, a teacher, a mentor, and then there's another one. I can't think what it is, but it is a therapist in a way. But we're here to help you identify. And I want to share something with you guys that I did not think I was going to really share, but I am going to share it with you because you guys need to know that I have been in a dark place, but before in my life, I've been in a dark place. Even in Scentsy, I'd been in a dark place, and I had to have a coach, and I had to have a mentor, and I still have a coach and a mentor, because coaches and mentors and people need to always have that. I mean, even some of the best marriages, they still have marriage counselors. And I know a bunch of our pastors at our church, they'll go away during the year to like a counseling session. And I used to say, why are you going? Your marriage is fine. They go, it's good to have it. It's good to always have something more for someone to listen, be able to tweak, and to even make it better. Because what if you had the best life ever to you, but there was still something out there that you weren't even at yet? And someone's there to remind you that you can do this. That's basically, what we're here for. So I'm going to challenge you to do something for me. And I took a bunch of notes because I was at a place, let me see where, if she's on here. Yeah. Okay. I'll send you. I'm just going to put you on here too, so you can, okay. I was at a place in my business where I compared myself all the time to other leaders and what they were doing and the mail they were sending and what they were shouting out and how they were running their life. And I have 4 kids, and my kids are anywhere between now 11 and 23. And I'm in a different place than I was when I first joined Scentsy. When I first joined Scentsy, I had a 9-month-old, a 1.5-year-old, 2.5-year-old, and a 9-year-old. And for the first 3 or 4 years in Scentsy, I worked my business like it was crazy busy because I loved it. It was my happy place. And I was more successful then than I was the past so many years, because I kind of lost myself because I compared myself too much, and I stopped loving myself because I started to be able to tell that, that I was comparing myself. So what I want you to know is I took some notes because I have a coach now that I coach with to help me, because even I go into the darkest places sometime where I don't want to get motivated. I don't want to get up and do the things. I don't want to deliver to basket parties. I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to get dressed. I don't want to, look decent. But yet my highlight reel on Facebook might show that I have the perfect life, right? Because I'm comparing myself to people who I think has the perfect life. And something that my coach really had to tell me and identify was that the people that you compare yourself to, the people that make you depressed, the people that you say, well, they got this and they got the perfect office and they got this and they got that. Like you can't see what else is going on. You don't know if they have a nanny. You don't know if they have a maid. You don't know, if they're over in the corner crying 15 minutes before they post that highlight reel, because Facebook is fake. It's absolutely fake. Half the time they want you to see the pool. They want you to see all the things, we highlight what's good in our life. We don't necessarily highlight the bad in our life. And he helped me really identify something. So I'm going to take you through an exercise he did with me to help you guys, because I feel like this is going to help us to be able to go further into coaching and also into the coaching corner. And then towards the end of this, we'll talk about reunion, and you guys can chat and talk all you want to over here and, ask questions or whatever. But first of all, it is impossible, absolutely impossible to have positive results in your life if you don't love yourself. You can have spurts of like, oh, wow, my business was rocking then. I don't know what's wrong with me now. And guarantee you it's a mindset that you have about yourself and a story that you're telling yourself. Because I can look at my calendars from 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, when I loved myself and I loved Scentsy and it was growing and people were coming underneath me and everybody who wanted to hear about it loved it and everybody wanted their houses to smell good. And I felt amazing because I found my worth. And then in 2013, I got this leader underneath me who rocked my world. No names, rocked my world. Made me feel like I was the worst leader ever. Made me feel like I was the worst consultant ever. Made me feel like I was the worst mother ever. Made me feel like this stuff. But you know what? I wouldn't have believed it if I already didn't have those seeds planted in my head already. And it was only like, well, you know what? She thinks it too, so it must be true. It must be true. And then from 2013 to about 2017, I was in a very dark place in this company. I wanted to quit about 1,000 times. We were growing like you wouldn't believe, but I didn't think I was the person for the job. I didn't think that success happens to people like me. I was always on the other end, looking out the windows at people earning their trips in their cars and having the happy lives and going away on their family trips and just think, this doesn't happen to me. I'm in a marriage that is emotionally abusive. And then when I left that, I'm a single mom. This doesn't happen to me. And then when I remarry, I'm like, oh, there's still something missing. So I was always looking for something. And so in 2013, when this happened, there again, I knew it. I knew it couldn't be true. I knew this happiness would not last. I knew that I really sucked. And now I see my real self. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And it took me 3 years to get back my happiness and to love myself again and to get a coach and a mentor and a therapist to really fix me back to knowing that I was okay. And that is why Coaching Corner is so important, because we aren't broken people. We just think broken ways and we act broken ways, right? So it's impossible to have positive results when you don't love yourself. Because I can look at my first 4 years and see where my business was incredible. And I can look at how I liked myself and what I was doing and how I felt about myself and the worth, because I was measuring my success with my business to the worth. But when that person came along and told me that I sucked and that all these things, my worth was gone. My business plummeted because I didn't want to show up anymore, right? But then I'm looking again all of a sudden from, 2017, 2020, where I start growing again. I'm like, guess what? I'm starting to love myself again. I'm starting to find out who I am again. I'm starting to know that these stories and negative voices don't exist unless I allow them to. So there's something that he made me do. And I want you guys to do this too. And if this speaks to you, I hope it does. And this may bore you out of your mind, but I felt like God had dropped this in my heart to share this with you, because this is a place that so many of us go to in this business. We have had such hyper growth in April, May, and June that all of a sudden we're in July and we're like, well, what are we going to do? Since he doesn't have products, since he's run out, since he's shipping is bad, what are we going to do? Oh, you know what? It was luck. It was luck. And guys, I'm telling you, it's not luck. If you showed up in your business and you had that PRV and you were doing those recruiting and stuff, it wasn't luck. It was you. You showed up. But you got to remember, what are you telling yourself, right? If you're telling yourself it's luck, then you're not going to show up again. But if you know what? I showed up then, I'll show up now, you'll show up again. So think about this. This is what he made me do. Over the next 24 hours, between now and tomorrow night, I want you to think about this. I want you to catch every negative thought that you have in your brain. I want you to think about the last 3 or 4 days. What negative thoughts did you have specifically towards your business, right? About yourself. Did you knock yourself down? Were you comparing yourself? I used to open up Facebook and go straight to somebody's page and see what they were doing. And if they were already on their bike, or if they were already running a mile around the neighborhood, or if they were already at the gym smiling and I was just getting out of bed, I told myself I sucked. I had to stop. I had to stop that. I had to say, you know what, Facebook, you don't come alive until I have done something and I'm ready during the day and I know my story. Because I would see all these people that were already out there and compare myself to them. But you know what? I have the life I want. I have the life where I can sleep in if I want to sleep in. I have the life where I can get up and I can run if I want to, but I know I'm also in control of my choices. So I can't let that comparison get me. So I want you to think about how many times you knocked yourself down. How many times did you tell yourself it was luck? How many times have you compared yourself? How many times have you told yourself that you can't do it? Because I guarantee you it's like a dozen or more. You're like, you know what? I had a great month last month. I won't have it this month. You know what? She's not going to recruit. She went under her. That's because she didn't. I'm not going to make a good leader. See, there's proof right there. I'm not going to make a good leader. So think about that. So next, you have identified all the thoughts you have, right? And it could be anything. I want you to picture someone in your life that you absolutely love and you absolutely cherish. And a lot of us, it's our kids or our spouse or our mom or our dad or sister, brother, whatever, right? I want you to just picture them in your head for a minute. Think about how much you love them. Think about, just how meaningful they are to you, right? And then I want you to consider the way that you talk to yourself in those moments of telling yourself that you suck, of telling yourself that you could have done better, of telling yourself that it was luck and you really didn't do it yourself, that it took something else to do it. And I want you to imagine yourself talking to them that way for a week. How many of you guys would do that? I don't think anybody would. And why do you think we would not do that? Can somebody answer me? Why would we not talk that way to someone that we love? Why do you think that is? You want to tell me?
It's hurtful.
It's very hurtful. And it would hurt them and it would scar them. And most of them would say, we'd never do that. I could never look at my kid and tell them the things I told myself. I could never do that. So then why do we do it to ourselves? We're supposed to love ourselves more than anything. And if we don't love ourselves, we won't show up in the business. It's having your glass half full. If you can't fill your own glass, you're never going to be able to fill someone else's. And if you find your worth in serving others, but you can't serve yourself, you'll never be able to serve them in the fullest that you really want to. Think about someone who makes you feel really good about yourself. Someone who's truly authentic in the moment. Normally, they are people who really think a lot of themselves. When I start thinking about people that I care about and that make me feel really, really good about myself and makes me feel really good about being in the business and being, a part of this world, I recognize that they have a lot of value to add, that they really find their worth, not in followers on Facebook, not in followers on Instagram, not in the money that they make, not in the success that they have, but in being. And taking all that away, and they know their worth. And I wanted to become one of those people. I wanted to be like, you know what? Love is something that we are born with when we come into this world, but fear is something that we learn. Fear is something that is of the future, right? And regret is from the past. But fear is something that we learn, and we start to hear stories on top of stories on top of stories that match our negative thoughts already, and then we have proven that story to be true. So when we come here and we're like, hey, what is your struggle? And it could be, well, I can't recruit. Instead of saying, why can't you recruit? That's when we start digging and saying, when's the last time you did recruit? What obstacles are standing in the way? And you find out a lot of times those three things that keep us from here to where we need to go has something to do with worth, has something to do with our self-worth, has something to do with love, has something to do with a fear of some sort. And that's what Coaching Corner is about. It's about being able to identify that. Someone told me this too one time. They said, you can be outside and it'll be a dreary day. It's raining outside. It's ugly, gray skies, everything, right? And what do we see? We see a dreary day. It'd be a good day to sleep in. Oh, I can't get out and do anything anyway. And it can set our mindset. But do you know if you got in a plane and you flew up above the gray clouds. It would be a blue sky. There's always a blue sky, and the sun is always shining. And it is a way that you can like reconnect to God and who you've been created to be, because God doesn't create junk. He doesn't create junk. He creates something great. And the sky is you. And the sun shining is the light that comes from you. And the potential for you to always stay shining, because the world's not going to allow you to shine. It's not. It's going to give you every reason in the world not to shine. It's going to want to dull your sparkle, and it's going to want to keep you in a box. People who shine scare people. They intimidate people, because a lot of people aren't happy, and they see happiness in others, and they like, oh, well, something's wrong with them. Let me just point out all the things that's wrong with them and put them back in their little box. And that's what was happening to me for 3 years in this business. 3 years. You can ask Annette. Annette saw it. I know she was worried about me, because I was allowing a person and things that were happening in a situation to run my life. And it got as big as social media and having to get off of social media. And it took me having to get my mind back to where it is and realize I wasn't broken. I wasn't any of the things that I thought I was. It was my thinking, the way that I was feeling, the way that I was acting. Because if we can think about what it is that's holding us back, right? Okay, this is how I feel. Then if this is the thought that I'm having, this is basically what it is. This is the thought that I'm having, that I won't get it right. A minute ago, I spilled this. I'll give you an example. I spilled this. This is a fragrance flower. I spilled it on this brand, not even new. It's probably 100 years old cherry table that Steve's mom gave to him. Okay. I know oil ruins finishes. I did it over there one time before, but immediately, instead of going, oh my gosh, let me get it up, because you can see the finish, I immediately says, there I go again. I am just so clumsy. I can't have one nice thing. What is wrong with me? I'm never going to have any furniture. I'm never going to have a house that I want. I'm never going to have anything, because I just suck. Immediately, just from spilling this. And I started hearing stories of, you won't ever have anything nice. You won't ever, have anything nice whenever you have this, or, I just started compiling stories. And finally I was like, I'm getting ready to talk to people about their mindset. What is wrong with me? I was like, you know what? You will have something nice. You can go buy another table. You can get it finished if you want to. So what? Mistakes happen, right? But it just takes something like spilled milk. It was a fragrance flower that started to like really spiral me. And 3 years ago, that would have put me in the bed, because I would have been like, I can't even do anything right, because we go from something so small to just our thoughts of how awful we are. So this is a very powerful activity that you can do. And we're going to do a lot of mindset stuff, because I've realized that even if you're beginning in Scentsy, network marketing is almost like a self-development altogether, right? A lot of you guys who've been here are like, that's so true, because Scentsy is always trying to teach us how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our mind, how to do self-care. Why is it so important? Because we can't go out there and shine and change lives and serve others if we don't feel it in here. And like I told you, the world will never give you permission to shine. So you really can't care about people as much as you think you do until you care about yourself, because people still see it. Because have you ever said something to someone and like, how's life? Oh, it's so great. And it's fine. Like, oh, really? It ain't fine. You can see right through that. And another thing that I had a problem with, and this is why I couldn't figure out exactly what it was, but a lot of you guys get postcards from us, or you get something if you're active, or if you've done over 500, if you've recruited, or if you've promoted, or whatever, right? And as leaders, we get way behind, because we have a lot on our plate to make sure that we're serving everyone, right? See, I just told you a lie. That's not true. We can choose to be busy. We can choose to do the busy work, or we can have a system and we can make it work, right? For me, I had a priority this month. I had to deal with me. I had to deal with my ear. I had to deal with stuff that was going on. I knew that my recognition was going to go out late, but I was okay with it. Normally I'd beat myself up and it wouldn't go out, right? So one thing that we do is we send out postcards and we send out gifts and we send out things to you. And then we look for you guys to put it on Facebook. Be like, oh, look at this. Look at what I got. Look at this. Look at that. And you don't even have to tag us. We just want to see that you are recognizing how amazing you are. And I have gone back, and there's a direct correlation. Someone, well, hold on a minute. Wait a second. There we go. Okay. For me, for example, I used to get things in the mail all the time from my upline. Never, ever, ever posted it. And this is something I talked to my coach about. Never posted it. He's like, why don't you post it? Why don't you let her know you got it? And I'm like, well, I might send her a message. Like, well, why don't you? Why don't you take a picture and say, look how awesome I am. I sold $2,000. I've been acknowledged. This makes me feel good. Why don't you do that? You don't even have to tag her. Why don't you do that? Because you don't believe that you deserve that. He said, you have a hard time with your success, don't you? And you know what? I did, because someone told me that I wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for this, and this. I'm successful because I showed up. I'm successful because I work hard. I'm successful because I don't give up and I don't quit. That is why I'm successful. And I know how to take no, and I know how to keep going with it. But before that, I said, well, I'm successful because this person did this, and this person did this, and this person did this. These people wouldn't be on my team if I wouldn't have asked them 8 or 9 times to join my team. So I had to really change my mindset. So when he was like, why don't you post what it is that you're getting sent? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, because you really don't believe down deep that you're worth it. And so I looked at all the things that I've sent out to people, and some people tag me on Facebook and some people don't. Not tag me, but put it on Facebook. And I started to talk to some of these people. And if they're on here, you know, they've given me permission, but I'm not saying names. I'm like, I'm just curious, you know, when you got your active in April, or when you got your postcard, or when you got your gift, why didn't you put it on Facebook? I don't know. I just didn't want other people to feel a certain way. I'm like, but do you believe that you are worth that? Do you believe that you're worth, you know, someone sending you something? They're like, no, not really. Like, why not? Why don't you think you're worth it? I don't know. And you get down to that story, why you don't think you're worth it. And it helps me coach them and what story they're telling themselves. Maybe their mom told them that they wouldn't make it. Maybe their ex-husband told them. Maybe they failed at something and never ever really gave it a go anyway. And they totally tell themselves they're not worth it. So therefore, and this is my thought process, I'm not going to put that I'm number 2 out of however many, because what if next month I'm not? What if next month I fail? What if next month no one books parties, I don't have any PRV, and I'm not active? What if, right? What if this happens? I wasn't living in the moment of the worth. Instead, I was already judging myself and seeing what I could feel at next. If I put it on there today, everybody's going to be waiting for next month so that, you know, they can see how much better I did. But what if I don't? Who gives a crap? We send you stuff because you're worth it. We send you stuff because you have done something. You have completed a goal. Do you know that there's not that big a percentage of people who are active, or who have 500, or who do recruit, or who get sensational start, or who promote? There's not that many. So when you do these things, they're milestones that we are proud of you for, but we want you to be proud of that too. So I really want you to think of yourself for a minute and think about, how do you feel when someone gives you something? How do you feel when you receive it? Because when you don't post it, and I don't care if you post it, I'm just giving you an example. But if you are not receiving it with a heart that you love yourself, that person who gives it to you will know it, and they won't do it anymore. Because that's what happened to me. She sent me stuff. I'd send her a quick message, oh, thank you, you know, but I never took it in. Like, I am so proud of myself. I was number 2 out of 4,000 people, or whatever it was. Or I'm so proud of myself, I got the trip to Greece. Or I'm so proud of myself. And it made her feel less. And when I talked to her later about it, she goes, you know, it just made me feel bad that I was making you feel bad, or it made me feel bad that you just didn't appreciate me. And it was a story she started telling herself, that she was less of a leader because I wasn't. feeling that way about me. You see what I'm saying? It's a cycle. So this is just a story that I had to deal with. And I wanted to share it with you because comparison is a thief of joy. And, you may hit, certain ranks and not keep your title or not get paid at title. You don't suck. You just keep showing up. It just means that the dots have not connected yet. A lot of people will hit certain ranks and they might not get paid on that title for 6 months until God has that perfect dot that's going to be connected to it to make you strong so that it can happen. But I just want you guys to know that that's what Coaching Corner, the vision behind it, is to be able to help you identify the stories that you're telling yourself. Because really, the story isn't that you can't recruit. The story is not that you can't get sales. The story is not that you can't find bookings. The story is not that you can't get anybody motivated in your team. The story is deeper than that. Yes, that's going to be the results. Because you take the situation and, like I said, if you say, I can't recruit, well, therefore, what am I feeling? I feel like I suck. Well, what's the action? I'm not recruiting. Well, what is the result? My team doesn't grow, right? So you look at what it is that you're thinking and look at the action that's happening from that thought, because a lot of times we sabotage ourselves whenever really that success is waiting right there at the door. You just got to be brave enough to step through it. You got to be brave enough to rewrite your story. And that is just something I feel like, God has really created or put that in my heart to let you guys know that God doesn't create junk, man. He does not. He creates wonderful, beautiful people to serve. And when we do that to ourselves, we're robbing ourselves and we're robbing the gift that God gave us to be able to shine, to go above those gray clouds and see that blue sky and that sun that is constant. Sun's always going to shine. Sky's always blue. It just appears on how you look at it. So now when I look at the gray skies, I always think there's blue skies above that. There's blue skies above that. I don't always think, oh, it's a gray cloud today. It's going to be ugly. I'm like, the blue skies. I have hope that the storm's going to break and it's going to be a blue sky to where I can go out there and I can do the things I want to do. And that is what you do. You look for those blue skies. You look for that light that shines within you, and you don't let that world dull your sparkle. But I felt like that was so important for me to share with you. I wanted to tell you, for 3 years in this business, I was in a super dark place. I wouldn't say I almost lost my marriage, but it was bad. It was really, really bad, to where I didn't love myself. And because I couldn't love myself, I couldn't show the love that my kids needed, my family needed, my friends needed. I couldn't show up in the world because I hated myself so much because of something that someone had said to me that mirrored something I already felt, and mirrored something that my ex-husband said, and mirrored something that I heard when I was smaller, that I could always be better and that I could always just show up in a different way, I guess you could say. And I use the word always because if you ever find yourself using the word always, it's a story that you've told yourself. And that's something else my coach said. He said, every time you tell me something, you use the word, and he says, I use the word every time. You use the word always, and you use the word every time. Because I said, every time I want to do something for me, someone needs me. Every time. He's like, really? Every single time that you want to do something for you, someone needs you? Do you really believe that? I'm like, yes. He goes, give me an example. Like, okay, I go ride my horse, my phone rings, somebody wants to join, I don't answer it, they go join under someone else. He goes, Shannon, do you really, really want that person underneath you who isn't going to take time to talk to you because you're on your horse and you're doing something for self-care for you and you're doing something to love yourself? Because you want to show up in this business with things that you love, and you want to show people you love yourself. That's what people are going to be attracted to. They're going to be attracted to people who say, you know what? Today, I'm going to spend time with my family, or I'm going to spend time with myself riding my horse or taking a bath and reading a good book or doing this because I deserve it. I deserve it. And when you are taking care of yourself, you're going to be able to show up in their lives 100% better. That's my leader right there. She knows how to take care of herself. She knows how to take care of others, and she knows how to say no. But when you become the doormat that says yes all the time, when you become the doormat that gets more worth out of serving others than serving yourselves, when you become the doormat of not believing in yourself anymore, that's where it's a very dark place. And that is why we have this place for you guys, so that you can come here and discover the stories that you're telling yourself. So I challenge you. I want you to write down. You don't have to say it today, but I want you to write down. If you're saying, well, I can't recruit, well, I can't do this, and I can't do that, I want you to think about what feeling you're having, what is the action that you're taking, and what is the result from that thought, because it's going to sabotage you. And Scentsy can be your happy place. It's my happy place. I absolutely love it, but it can't be your only happy place. When you find your worth in your business, that's very, very unhealthy. You have to find your worth in you and what you put out in this world, and then Scentsy can supplement that. But you can't go hide yourself in the office and be like, oh, I did all this stuff, I feel so good, and then go back out in the world and everything hit you like darts. You got to learn how to love yourself. So that is what I had for you today. That is what was on my heart. I don't know if anybody wants to share anything.
I just want to say, Shannon, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's
Amazing.
gives me like a ton of breaks, because I've been really doubting myself here lately and have a lot of stuff going on, and that hit home. I know.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. And I felt like you guys needed to hear that, because if you think something's perfect, it's not.
And it is mindset. You have to change that. You have to wake up every day, look in the mirror, and tell yourself that you are amazing and you are worthy, and feed your mind positive things. Absolutely. Shannon, that was so, so great. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. So we are halfway through our call, and I wanted to really touch on that. Is there anyone who wants to share anything that kind of bubbled up that you want to share? Let me read some of these things if anybody says anything. Show me lately that does it. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Well, you may have some like epiphanies or something later, and you can definitely like reach out to whoever, but we are trying to plan an incredible virtual event for you guys, and those of you who are getting together. We want to be able to do things for you too. And I know there's like a group of us that is going to Kernersville, but there's a lot of people who aren't doing anything, right? So we wanted to share with you, I'm going to let, if it's okay, I'm going to let Sharon, because I know Sharon is on here. And who has gone to a reunion before? Monica?
Yeah,
Sharon? Okay. I can't see everybody. But anyway, Sharon and Monica, I want you guys to share quickly, what is reunion to you, and why is it powerful to you?
Sharon, do you want to go first, or you?
Oh yeah, I'll go first. Reunion is powerful. You're right, Shannon. It is amazing. There is nothing like reunion. It is one huge family. There's so much connection, so much caring, so much cheering each other on. You learn so much, and everybody there is just so supportive and helpful. And it is a game changer. It is definitely a game changer. When you go to reunion, you come back on fire, y'all. I mean, you are on fire. And it's so hard to describe it unless you've lived it. And it is all that and so much more. I promise you. It's amazing. It's a feeling that you can't leave. You cannot leave that. You want more and more and more. It's amazing. That's all I have to say. And if you haven't registered for SFR, even the virtual one, you need to. It's $11. You need to register. You cannot miss this. I promise you. It is going to be amazing. Okay,
Awesome. All right, Monica.
How you are? How you feel?
So my first reunion, I'm like I'm doing my hair, don't laugh. My first reunion was in 2017, and at that time I was like barely 19. It was my first trip on my own, my first time doing anything like that. And I just remember how I felt walking into that first general session, and it was just tears. The whole time it was just tears. And I was like, I think I found where I belong, and I didn't know just how much finding where I belong meant until now when I'm older. if that makes sense. But reunion, it pumps you up so much. You learn so much. It's something you guys need to invest in. And this month, with it being $11, like there's no reason why you guys shouldn't be signed up for SFR, because the amount of breakthroughs you will get from SFR are unbelievable. And I can't tell you how much me going to Scentsy Family Reunion in 2017 has affected my business today. Like, and I haven't been back since then, but I'm going this year, and it's something you guys need to invest in, because you come out with so many ideas and breakthroughs, and you learn about yourself, you learn how to run your business more effectively, and you're just pumped up. You're just excited. That's pretty, it gets you really motivated.
You know, one thing is they say that leaders are born at events. I mean, they truly are, because the girl I was before I walked into reunion in 2009, 2010, I went with my mom. My mom and I basically, like, hey, there's something in Colorado. I keep getting this thing in my email about something about Scentsy, because I didn't know anything. There was no Facebook, guys. There was nothing like this back then. I'm like, why don't we just take a trip, Mom? And, that's why I went. But when I went there, I met some of the best friends I have now. Karen Fettis, Becca Levi, Aspen Calhoun, Colette Gunnell, who's actually the inventor. Funny story. I had no idea. I had the catalog for Scentsy. I had never really even opened it and read it that much, because I remember the first time I opened up the catalog and I saw the compensation plan and I saw where I was as essential consultant, and I saw the superstar director. I was like, that'll never happen, ever. I'll stay right here. I'm good in my little comfort zone right here. But I want to go to Colorado because my friend Gradle lives there. My mom and I will go, and let's check this thing out. And I remember walking in there, and it's the same thing Monica said. It's like, I found my place. Not everybody looked a certain way. There was every walk of life. But you felt the love, the absolute love, like when I went in there that Thursday night. And so anyway, still didn't know who the owners were, didn't know anything. And so the next day I'm walking around Colorado, and I'm walking around the convention center, and we're trying to find a certain door. I didn't even know I was walking around the convention center. I was walking around downtown Colorado, and I was looking for this bear, and I could not find it. So there was this couple sitting outside, and I was just like, hey, do y'all know where the Scentsy convention is? And they're just like, yeah, it's going to be around that way. And I'm like, okay, well, have y'all ever heard of Scentsy? They're just like, well, yeah. I'm like, okay. Thought nothing of it. Guys, it was Heidi and Orville. That night, I'm sitting in the audience and have no idea, what's going on. And we're sitting up there, and they come out on stage, and I'm like, oh my God, I asked them if they knew what Scentsy was, and I can't believe it. But they were so humble. They could have easily been like, we are the CEOs of Scentsy. How dare you not know? But instead, they were just like, yeah, it's over there. Yeah, we've heard of Scentsy, So, like, later on, I earned this trip to go to Boston. It was about 6 months later. We had a Boston trip, best trip ever. I loved it. I mean, it was just so intimate, and we got to know them. And he remembered, and I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I cannot believe that I said that. And he was like, we're never going to forget that. He's like, that was the coolest moment ever. He's like, you never even looked in the catalog, did you? And I'm like, nope. Because I didn't know who they were. But just the fact that these people were not judgmental, they were just open arms, and just let you know that I don't care whether you're in the lowest part of your life, and I don't care whether you're in the highest part of your life. None of that matters. I don't care if you're an essential consultant. I don't care if you're a superstar director. None of that matters. You are welcome to this table. That you come to our table and sit with us. And they will go and they will sit with essential consultants and certified consultants before they sit with the superstar directors, because these people need to know that they matter. And you get that from reunion. So when you're watching virtual reunion, when you're watching this virtual reunion, know that they're going to put their heart, their soul. I mean, you wouldn't believe what they're doing to try and make this as amazing as an actual event. It's going to be completely different, but I know that the message is going to come over as warm and as loving as if we just walked into a room of 16,000 people. And us as all directors, we're going to try and make this as loving and serving as we can too. That is why we want you registered, so we can put you on a page to play games, to do giveaways, to teach you, to guide you, and for you to be able to listen to these trainings and share with other people as well. Because like Monica said, the stuff she learned from 2017, I guarantee you right now in her business, she's like, oh, I remember that from 2017.
I sure do.
Yeah.
And there's not a year that goes by and it don't pop up on my timeline, and I'm like, dang, I wish I could go back. And then this year I was like, yeah, I'm finally reinstated. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go to reunion. And then boom, it's virtual. I said, dang it.
I know.
But then I'm like, it's still going to be so great because it's still just as much excitement in it as it was 3 years ago. I mean, there's still so much excitement in it. And I'm so pumped.
You're going to meet people that you just never knew. Like today, I was on my way back from Wilmington, had to drop my daughter off at Sunset Beach area. And a Zoom call came through with Karen Fettis. And my mom was in the car with me. And she looks over at the Zoom call. She goes, that's the lady that was on the panel in 2010. I'm like, yeah, we're really good friends now. She goes, oh my gosh. But that meeting in 2010 cemented me because I had no one in my life besides Steve who believed in me. No one. And then when I met Gladys and she believed in me and she didn't know me from Adam, that really helped. But these other people that weren't in my group had no reason in the world to even like me, would send me sweet little messages every now and then. Hey, thinking about you. Hey, doing this. And I'm like, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of the people who care about people. And that is what you're in. And that is why we take our time on Wednesday nights to really invest in you and let you guys know we care about you. We want you to stop telling yourself stories. We want you to show up and be the best authentic person that you're meant to be. So but this reunion, we're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, I know some of you work and you're like, well, I'm not going to register because it's on during work. Well, guess what? You can watch it for 30 days where you can go in there and you can watch every one of those trainings. You can find something that's better for you. You can like say, you know what? I'm going to learn how to take care of this. I'm going to learn how to recruit here. I'm going to learn how to do my PRV here. I'm going to learn how to have a fall open house. I'm going to learn how to, it's kind of cool. You're going to have a category to be able to watch all the speakers, where if you actually went to convention, you wouldn't be able to watch them all. You'd only be able to choose like 3.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good, Christina, go ahead.
Sorry, Emery's in the background crying right now. Right when I was about to start talking. So hi.
Oh.
But anyway, we were talking about how say hello. So I'm getting ready for bed. Hi. Hi. But what I was saying, when you were talking about when like Heidi and Orville didn't even like you being like, I guess, low man on totem pole at the time, and actually knowing you and just caring for you, period, regardless of what your title was. I've had 2 encounters, intimate encounters with both of them. They don't know me from Adam. But like this past year when I came back to Scentsy, when I came spring sprint this spring, summer, catalog or whatever, when I went for world tour and they were there, I walked over to Heidi and I gave her a hug and she looked at me and I told my mom, I was like, I can't believe she even remembers. She told me, she's like, I remember the last time I saw you. She said, you were pregnant with your first daughter. She's like, and I see you already have a 2-year-old, like another child. And I said, yeah, like how the heck do you know that? But they do. And it shows you that they follow you just as much as you follow them. And it's important to them to make you feel important. So like, I've never been to reunion, but I know how hyped up I get during spring sprint or world tour. So I'm excited to see reunion because it makes me want to make myself accountable and to be there and to push my girls along and help them and see them achieve stuff. So I'm really excited about it, but that's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. I know.
And by the way, you're doing awesome, Shannon. This has been a great Zoom meeting.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you. But I'm telling you guys, if you're not registered, get off of here, go into your events tab and pay $11. That's 2 Starbucks drinks or 2 Whopper meals, or I don't know, a Panera. I don't know, Panera is expensive. Those kitchens really expensive. So I'm serious. Invest in yourself and pay that $11 so that you will have access to all these things It will make you so much better as a consultant, as a person. I believe that you'll be able to look at the world differently if you go and you experience this, because the love and the warmth that comes through them, you just don't want to leave it. You know, there are people that leave Scentsy and they're like, oh, I miss it so much. I miss that community, because there's no community out there like this. I'm telling you. I have friends that are in many, many different direct sales companies, and they said what Scentsy has is incredible. And I really need to come back to that, because you're not judged. Like, you know, just like Monica said, and anyone who, and Christina, anyone who reinstates, so what? It wasn't your season, and now you're back, and we love you just like we loved you back then. And they do too. And the fact that Heidi, you know, recognized Christina, I know that made you feel good. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know?
Well, you know,
And
while we're talking about that, Shannon, when my first, like that first reunion, I don't even know, it was after you got your Shining Star Award, and I was like, I'm gonna take a picture with them. I'm gonna take a picture with them, and I went by myself up to the stage, like everybody else had left me, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a picture with Heidi, and I don't care what it takes. So I go up there, and they cut off the line right when I got up there, and I was like fixing to like cry. I was like, I just want to meet them, and like, I guess they saw that, and they were like, come on up here and get a picture. And then I remember Orville like whispered to me, he said, stay here, we're gonna get a selfie afterwards, because it wasn't just a picture of me, it was with a bunch of people I didn't know. And he I guess he felt bad, so he was like, stay here, we'll take a selfie. You and Heidi, we can all take a selfie. And it's funny because he made like a funny face in the selfie. It was just one of those little memories, like he didn't have to do that, but they did, you know. And then they care about all of their consultants. I think I cut off. I don't know what happened.
I was gonna say that's a big thing too, that whenever I do recruit, I talk about not just what we're selling or not selling, but sharing with people. But we're also the company that we stand for. And Heidi and Orville are a perfect, humble example of it. Like, that's one thing I tell them: you will never regret your decision to be with Scentsy, because they will stand behind you and they truly do care about you.
They do. Shannon, I can't hear you.
there we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. In 2012, I earned my first family trip to go to Disney, 2011. And I remember it was at the 2010 convention where all the negative voices that had come in my head about I would never do this, I'd never be able to do this for Peyton, I'd never be able to do this, all of them just kind of disappeared, because Orville went up there and he was talking about how much he believed in us and how much we could do this. And he had this figurine of a Goofy, and he said, there's figurines in the back table. I want you to go take a figurine, take it home, put it on your desk, and remind yourself every day that this is what you guys want to do. And some people could take Disney and some people leave it, right? But for me, it was a big deal because I was told I'd never be able to take Peyton to Disney. Well, anyway, I earned trip for Disney, and I earned it for everyone, right? And we had an issue where I was trying to get the stroller in the monorail to get to the farewell dinner, and I couldn't get it in. And so when I backed up with the stroller, the monorail closed, and it took Peyton and the two boys on to Disney and left me, Steve, and Andy out. And we're like, oh my God, you know, it's like a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 9-year-old, and oh my God, they're gonna get taken. And so then it started raining, and it was just crazy. Well, we got into the farewell dinner, but we were an hour and 15 minutes late. And there was no food. We'd missed the show. We missed everything. And I had told myself, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. You know, the best part of the night, we've completely missed it. So that night they had magic hours from midnight until 4 a.m. that you could go out onto the area. And the whole purpose of me earning Disney was to me to have this time with Peyton. So Steve went back to the hotel with the boys and Andy, and Peyton and I left at midnight to go around Disney. And we're out there all by ourselves, running to the Magic Kingdom and going to Thunder Road and just having a blast. And all of a sudden you look up and there's Orville and Heidi and their kids. And he comes up and he's like, oh my gosh, hey. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, well, why don't y'all just hang out with us? We're like, this is crazy. This just doesn't happen. And so Peyton's like, we missed Rapunzel and we missed this. And she's telling her all the things that we missed because we got caught in that monorail. He's like, I'll be right back. So he comes right back. He has a Mickey Mouse, a Minnie Mouse, a Donald Duck, and a Goofy. a stuffed animal, and he's like, here, make sure you give this to your kids to remember this trip by, because I'm sorry that you missed this farewell dinner. And I don't even know if I was a director yet, but I'm telling you guys, that moment meant so much to me. And yes, when I got Shining Star, he remembered whenever I, met them for the first time, and he remembered whenever we had the Disney thing, but I was never too big for my britches either. So I think that this company helps us become humble and really not look at like what we're not doing, but look at what we are doing. And when we go to that dark place, there are people around us that surround us to be able to say, hey, I got you, and pick you up and bring you up out of it. And I think all of us have been able to really, have that in our lives, some way, somehow. Someone has probably touched you in this business and you just don't realize it yet. So, I mean, that I could just keep here and talking forever, but they're just amazing people. And I really want you guys to experience Reunion. But who else wants to share anything? Does anyone want to share anything? Is there anyone who has had something bless them through Scentsy that you just want to share? Because it's better than the paycheck. It's better than the title. It's better than the trips. It's this community and it's this love that we have. See if anybody wants to share.
I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw or not, but my little guy Charlie, he needed surgery a couple weeks ago to reconstruct his skull. But he was there for a week, and they would only allow one parent, of course, because of what's going on. So I let his dad go up first, and then I went afterwards. But when I went, of course, I decided that I was going to take my Scentsy wall diffuser and my pods in the amazing scent of Bonfire Beach, because that is what I had diffusing at the house. And I don't know, when I got there and I plugged it in, of course, all of the nurses and stuff was like, oh, is that Scentsy? And I actually ended up getting a couple orders from it. But it was just more so than the orders, it was the sense of peace and happiness I felt, like just smelling the scent and just feeling, as much at home as I could in a hospital room. But it really just made me, I don't know, a little happier, considering the situation. And the next day I reached out to Sharon and I was like, I know I've been doing crazy stuff. I've been like walking a whole bunch of bridges and trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, but Scentsy is where I want to be, and it's where I'm going to stay. So I just want to share that.
I love that. And see, that's that scent. That is something that we have, no one else has. That scent can trigger the happiness and that warmth feeling that you felt, that family feeling. There's some people out there waiting for me to return, and so that they can love on me. And I freaking love that. You're amazing, Diamond.
Thanks.
There was one training they did one time where it was talking about how Scentsy, like with us having fragrance and scent, they were talking about how it creates memories. Like there's certain bars that I have that remind me of my grandmother who's not here anymore, or a trip that we've taken, or now you smell that scent and now it's going to make you think of that time with your family, with this crazy time we're going through. That is the cool thing about, like they were talking about, Heidi Norville one time mentioned that scent brings back memories.
Yep, that's right. I mean, that's why I joined, because it made me feel good whenever I smelled it in my sister's house. Well, this has been a good call. I mean, I know I talked most of the time, but I just really felt like God had put that in my heart, just for you guys to really understand the stories that we tell ourselves.
This was really good, Shannon.
Yeah.
You really did such a fantastic job, and it's so touching, and everything you said was so head on, and you're just amazing, girl. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
You're all amazing. You're all amazing.
I agree. All of you are. Well, I did record this so that y'all can share it with your teams and your downline, because I feel like it's something that everyone needs to hear, somebody might not have showed up tonight because they're actually having those thoughts of unworthiness, and it might be something they need to hear. But please go back and let your teams know to register. You have like 2 more days left to be able to do it. The 10th, I believe, is our last day, and that's a payday. So everybody should have $11 to spare to be able to invest in themselves. But we're going to try and put together the best virtual event as far as a team wise on a certain Facebook page. So once you are registered, we'll add you to this page next week. And then Scentsy's going to do an incredible job as well. So thank y'all so much for giving me your hour tonight and for you guys showing up.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
we'll see
all
ya.
so much. And Shannon, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Shannon.
You're
'Cause
welcome.
that
Thank
was really
you.
needed. Like I've had a lot going on, and it's hard. Sometimes I don't want to get up and do it, and then I'm like, I just don't feel like I'm worthy of being a director. And you spoke to me. Even the post you posted the other day, I shared it in all my groups and on my page. I've had a hard couple weeks, and it knocks you down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Life can
So
be hard.
everything
That
you
is for
said
sure.
really, yeah. So it really spoke to me, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Well, y'all have a good night.
Okay, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hi.